Hello everyone, my name is Aryan Bhandari and this is Java course by DoCoNation. So in our previous session, we learned about some data types and variables. And in this session, I have created a file named as Java underscore 02. And in this session, we are going to learn about reading input from users and some different types of operators in Java. Okay. So if I want to write a program which asks the user and according to that it gives out some value. Okay, so to do that we have to read the input which is given by the user. So to read input in Java we have a scanner class. Okay, so let me show you how to declare it. Scanner sc equals new scanner, and over here we'll write system dot in. So if you write this system dot in, that means the user can give the input. Okay, otherwise you can pass it a string also, like this, and this will also work, but it won't ask the user because you are giving the input. So I'll keep it as system.in. So as you can see, it's giving me an error. Okay, so it's asking me to import something. Let me just click it. Okay, so it imported java.util.scanner. Okay, so I can, so in this class, in the util, java.util, we have scanner inside it. So in Java, if you press control, see, I'm pressing control, I can open the declaration. Okay, if I click it, see it opens some declaration. This is also a Java code. Okay, so this is something we'll learn in coming sessions. But for now, just understand that we need to import our scanner class from this command, and then we have to declare it like this. Now apart from directly using scanner, we can also put asterisk. Okay, because this has got many other classes like scanner. We have more classes. So for now I would not like to confuse you, and I'll just write scanner over there. Okay, now I have declared it. Okay, now I can use this sc. Okay, this is an object of this class. This terminologies, classes, objects and everything, that we'll discuss in detail, because right now we are learning basics. Okay, once we'll go to object oriented programming, we'll also learn about what is public and static. Okay, so we'll know everything, right? So let's start from basic now. Suppose I want to read a input of an integer. Okay, so what I can do is I can, so like I showed you in previous session, I'm using integer data type, and let's declare a variable var and sc dot next. So it's giving me this, so I can click it. Okay, sc dot next int. So this is how this is known as, this type of formatting is known as camel casing. Camel casing is when you write the first letter small, and for the next words you will write its first letter in capital or in uppercase. Okay, so this is known as camel casing. So Java usually follows camel casing, so we'll also follow that. And this is how you read a integer. Okay, this is known as a method of this object. So this is how we'll read, and we can print it afterwards. So I'm using syso and control space, so it will give you system.out.println. Now I can simply write var in it. Okay, to print the value which will be inside this. Okay, now I have declared it. Okay, I have declared the scanner. I have asked the scanner to take input in integer type, and I'll print the value, right? And I'll go here and run. it's asking me to take input. So this is a bit awkward. So what we'll do, as I previously wrote, let me just write it again, and I'll tell it to enter a integer. Okay, so I can write, so this is also for printing, and inside double quotes I can write my any message and it will get printed. Okay, and if you write ln, it will give next line. Okay, so let me just show you what it is. If I don't write ln, and if I write like this, so let's just observe what will happen. See, it's coming in one sentence only, but if I give it ln, it will come in another line. All right, so I'll just comment it, control forward slash. Okay, so I am writing. So over here you can see red because the program is still running. Now you can click and terminate the program from it. It will get terminated. Now I'm gonna run it again. So enter a integer and I'll write some integer and I print. Okay, so I've printed the integer. To make it more clear, let me write something over here. I'm writing a message in double quotes. Your value is, and in Java, to concatenate or to add a value after our string message, we write a plus sign. Okay, this plus sign is different from a mathematics plus sign. Okay, this is meant for concatenation, joining two things. Okay, so now I'll save it. I'm gonna run it again. Yeah, enter a integer. I'll write something and it will give me the required result. Okay, so this is for taking input of integer type. Taking input of integer type. Now, similarly, if you want to take input of float type, similarly we can write float over here. Okay, and this should be of float type again. Okay, so this is to take float value, and similarly you can take double value. Okay, and so on. Now to take a string value. Okay, so suppose I want to write my give my name as an input. So how will you do that? Let me just comment this out too and copy it of string type. Can you guys guess what will be the data type over here? So for int, we use int data type. For floating, for taking float input, we are using float data type. So for taking string input, what data type we'll use over here? Actually, we will use string over here. So we have a string. Okay, in Java, we have string to store multiple characters. Okay, if you write char, it will store only one character. So for this, I have to remove float. Okay, and I have next line. Like this, I have to write. Now this string is a data type, and this string is a class too. So that we'll discuss, but let me just show you again. Press control and open declaration. See, it is also a class. So Java is all about classes and objects. Now, if I write like this, next line, I can take input as string. So let me just run it. Okay, I can write any message. That doesn't matter. Fine. So let me just give my name. See, your value is Aryan Bhandari. So now I can take a string as an input. Now there is one more method known as next. Okay, now what is the difference? Let me just execute it and show you. Enter a string, and if I write the same string, look, it's giving me only the first word. Why? Because if you write next method after the first word, if you give a space, it will remove all other letters or words, whatever. Okay, so it's gonna take only one word before a space. Okay, so if I run it again, and I can write anything like Aryan underscore underscore any value. Okay, and I can write my surname. So this it's gonna take because there is no space in between, so it took as it is. Okay, so this was about taking input. So till now, if you guys have any doubt, you can ask. Any doubts? Let me just check the doubts channel also. Now in Java, we have different types of operators. Like we have arithmetic operators, we have assignment operators, we have comparison operators, we have logical operators. There is one more type of operators known as bitwise operator. That we'll not discuss because it's a bit of advanced and you should know binary numbers and multiplication, addition, sort of things. So let's start with arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are just like your mathematical operators. Okay. So let me declare a integer of a and give it 10 and a b and give it 15. Okay. So now my this let me use the plus operator. So plus operator obviously it will add it. Okay. So I will take my answer in this variable a plus b and I'm gonna print the same. I'm gonna just print my answer. Okay, so I'm taking two variables, one is a, one is b, both are of integer types, both have integer values, and I'm gonna add them using my plus operator or addition operator, and I'm gonna store that result in my answer variable, which is also of integer data type, and this answer I'm keeping in here to print it. Okay, now let me just comment this one first. So it's giving me 25, right? It's very simple. It's just like your arithmetic operator. If I give minus, as you guys can obviously guess the answer, minus 5, because I'm subtracting 15 from 10. And this sign is used for multiplication. So this is your multiplication operator. Okay, and similarly, if I run it, it will give me 150, which is correct. And if I divide, so here is the tricky part. Okay, if I divide, what do you think the answer will be? So when you divide 10 by 15, do you get 0 or do you get 0 point something something? Because we have taken integer types and I have told you that in Java, by default, decimal types is for double data type. Okay, so if you want to do calculation, you can use float or double. If you want to do division and you want to get exact answer in points, write it again over here and let me change the value to double. Now the answer will be 0 or 0 point something something. Okay, now we are getting the exact answer. So these all of these signs, and these signs, all of these are known as operators, and on which we perform these operators, those are known as operands. Okay, so this a, this b, okay, so this is a, this a is an operand, this b is an operand, and this forward slash, which is for division, is a operator. So now let's move on to modulo operator. Now this is a very important operator. Okay, and if you might have studied in C or C++, you might know this will give a reminder. But trust me, you have to understand this operator very well because it's not only just about giving the reminder. Okay, so we'll not go deep in this session. Anyways, so modulo operator. Now if I just take a and let me just write 4 int b read as 2, my answer as a modulo b. Can anyone tell what it's gonna print? If you divide 4 by 2, okay, let's just check it and execute it. Okay, it gave me a 0. So if you divide 4 by 2, guys, this is simple, right? If you divide 4 by 2, So 2 2 ja 4. Okay, I'm telling you this necessary thing. 2 2 ja 4, and nothing remains in the remainder, which is 0. Okay. Now if I write, let's just say 3, and now it's giving me 1. Can you tell why? So again, like 3 ones are 3, it's gonna give me 3. So 4 minus 3, remainder is 1. Okay, so this is simple. So when you write modulo operator, it's gonna give a reminder. Okay, now let's discuss about increment operator. So increment operator is denoted as like this. Now if I do a plus plus, and I'll do a plus b. Okay, so if I write plus plus after a, it is known as post increment. If I write plus plus before a, it is known as pre increment. Okay, so if I write, so let me just tell you, if you write, this is post increment. Okay, you know what this means is like I am a is equals a plus 1. This is the exact thing. So I am assigning a, I'm just adding a, I'm just adding 1 to a. Okay, these two are almost same. I mean, these are same. Now if we have added 1 to 4, what will be the value of answer? Let me just run and show. So it's giving me 8. If I write it again, now what will be the answer? And if I write b plus plus, now what will be the answer? So we have a, in a we have 4. Okay, now we are incrementing it once, it will become 5. Okay, now a value is 5. Now we are incrementing it again, so now a value is 6. Okay, and now b is 3. A value is 6 right now. Okay, now b is 3 and I am incrementing it again, so now b will become 4. Okay, now this is simple addition, a plus b, what will be the answer? 10. Okay, so this was about increment. Now similarly, let me just remove this. If I do this, so this is known as decrement operator. So I'm just subtracting 1. Okay, so this is also equal to a is equals to a minus 1. Now if I'm decrementing 4, okay, 2 times, and I'm decrementing b 1 time, now what will be the answer? So once we decrement a by, so we are decrementing it by 1, so we write it as, so it will become 3. Now again I'm decrementing it by 1, so it will become 2. Okay, so till now a is equals to, now b is 3. Now I'm decrementing b by 1. Okay, so it will become 2. Now 2 plus 2 will be 4. Okay, that's our answer. So this was the basics about increment and decrement operator. Let me also tell you about shorthand operator. If I write this, this is known as shorthand operator. Okay, now what this means is a is equals to a plus b. So if I print this, my print is over here. If I print my a, okay, so this is exactly same as this, plus equals b. This is known as shorthand operator. So instead of writing all of these, I'm just writing it like this. Okay, let me just comment one of it, and I'm using shorthand operator, and let's see the answer. It's giving me 25. Why? Because a was storing 10. Okay, b was having 15. So I'm reassigning the value of a. Okay, so I'm telling now a should be equal to a plus b, which is 10 plus 15, and which equals 25. So I have printed A over here, so I'm getting 25. And this operation is same as this one. Instead of plus, you can put any other operator like this, okay, like this. So this is shorthand for subtraction. Let's move on. Also, one thing, if you try to divide anything by 0, let me print the answer. If you try to divide anything by 0, it's gonna give some kind of error. So this is actually known as exception, which we'll study later. So this was about arithmetic operators. All right, now let's look at assignment operators. So we have already used assignment operator, right? So if I just say A is equals, so let me just uncomment. So if I'm writing this is known as assignment operator. Okay, and I'm assigning some value to A. So I'm assigning a value of 10. And in B, I'm assigning a value of 15. So this is known as an assignment operator. Okay, and this I've already showed, this is a shorthand operator. Fine. Now what is a comparison operator? Okay, so one equals to was a assignment operator. Double equals to is there, that means that's a comparison operator. That means now let me just, I'm comparing A equals B. So is A equal to B? Because A is not equals to B, it's giving me false, right? Because A is not equals to B, and I'm using a comparison operator. Now if I write this as 10, so what will it give me? It's giving me true, because yes, A has 10 and B is also 10, and while we are comparing it using two equals to operator, it's giving me true. Okay, now let's use greater than operator. Greater than we can use, or we can use greater than equals to. Okay, so let me just say write like this: is A greater than B? Let's just check. False, because 10 is not greater than 10. But is 10 greater than or equals to 10? Yes, then it will be true. Okay, similarly, if we can do it with less than operator, it's giving false because 10 is not less than 10. And if I make this 15, so it's true because 10 is less than 15. So it's giving me true. So these were the comparison operators. Now, what are logical operators? So we have a AND logical operation, we have OR, and we have NOT. Okay. So what AND does is, suppose I want to write a program which checks a person who is above 18 and having a driving license, he should be eligible to drive a vehicle. So I am checking both of these. So what I have to do, if a person is above 18 and a person have driving license, then only he will be able to drive a vehicle. Okay, so this is not a coding in programming. Okay, so we are using AND over here. Why? Because we have to satisfy both the conditions. A person should be above 18, also he should have a driving license, then only he can drive the vehicle. Okay, now we are writing OR operator because we need to satisfy only one condition. So let's just say in a country, if a person have DL, he can drive vehicle. If a person is above 18, he can also drive a vehicle. So we don't need to satisfy both the conditions. Okay, if any one condition is true, he can drive the vehicle. Okay, so if person is above 18 or a person have DL, he can drive the vehicle. That means any one condition should be true. Now if I write and now both the conditions must be true. Otherwise, a person cannot drive a vehicle. Okay. So we'll use all of these operators in an actual program. but for now, just for your understanding, before actually implementing it, I'm giving you an example. Now, what is a not operator? If a person is not above 18, that means he cannot drive. Let me just remove this for now. If a person is above 18, he cannot drive a vehicle. But this should not be the case, because if a person is above 18, he should be able to drive a vehicle, right? So this is just writing it another way. I am just putting not, so I am making it opposite. Okay. So what this not does is, if anything is true, it will make it false, or if anything is false, it will make it true. Okay, let me show you with a programming example. Okay, so if I say a is equals b, right? A is equals to b. This you understood, right? I am comparing a and b. This you understood. Yeah. So what will it will print? It will print false. False, right? Because a is not equals to b. Now if I change this to not equal to b, okay, so this is not equal to. So a, if is a not equal to b, what will be the answer? True. See, true. What it did, it just changed the false and made it true. Okay. If I, and I'll show you vice versa also. Let me make it true. Okay. So now a is equals to b. So it is true, right? A is equals to b. But if I write not, what it's gonna do, it's gonna make it false. So guys, this is it for the session, and we'll meet in the next video.